It's finally about that time, ladies and gentlemen. The Sun and Moon are coming, and holy Kuro stepped up the character design this patch. So the first phase of 2.6 coming in a little under 2 weeks. We'll have Augusta, the newest Electro Broadblade user, who is probably the most unique kit we've seen so far. So without further ado, let's cover all her best weapons, echoes, Teamcomps, and node value. Let's just skim over her materials because you should be pre-farming by now. The current banner is shorter than normal, and most of them are available now. The amounts shown are for a completely maxed level 90 all 10 talents Augusta, so all the standard Electro and Broadblade materials. These are the Fleur-de-Lis weekly drops. Then her flowers will be in the new area, which unfortunately we can't pre-farm for, and her Ascension boss materials will be from a new boss in that area called the False Sovereign, which sounds pretty cool. But enough stalling. Broadblade options. Her signature will be best, providing crit rate, attack percent, heavy damage bonus, and a massive defense ignore up to 36%. It's clearly broken, but thankfully she has plenty of other options, so it is not a must pull. Jian's is amazing on her, it's her second best. Qinxi's Sig is her third best, Lupa's is in the fourth slot, and then Lustrous Razor, the standard weapon, is her fifth best, 5-star. So if you have any signatures already, or the standard weapon, they will be best. But if you have none of those, then both Battle Pass weapons are her best 4-star options. Yes, we're getting new BP weapons. And then her only free-to-play option will be Helios Cleaver. And then I guess you can go Waning Redshift, but it'll perform a little worse. Moving on to her best Echo sets, she is once again a character that wants a 3-piece set, and there will be 2 new sets coming with the banners, Crown of Valor and Law of Harmony. Now this is for Ayuno, so we'll ignore that. But Crown of Valor will be Augusta's best in slot 3-piece set. She is unfortunately the only character that can use this. Of course, unless you want to play DPS Gen Jin, but who's doing that? The best 2-piece to pair with this depends on your substats, so any 2-piece from Void Thunder or Lingering Tunes will be good. Use whatever is best, but for you sweats, Void Thunder is like 0.5% better, so if you want, farm it. Her best main echo will be the False Sovereign, and with a cost spread of 43311, her ideal main stats will be crit rate or damage, double electro damage, and double attack percent, the standard DPS build. Then her substat priority in order of importance is first crit rate, then crit damage, attack percent, heavy damage bonus, then flat attack. She shouldn't need any ER. Now her team comps. So looking at her kit, she seems to be incredibly versatile. She can either be played as a main DPS or dual DPS. So let's start with her main DPS comps. Ayuno and Shorekeeper is without a doubt her best hyper carry. There's no contest. Ayuno will provide the largest heavy buff in the game, and that is a massive chunk of her damage. Besides her, Frolova is her next best. Again, another heavy buff and solid personal damage. Also pretty low field time. Mortefi is great as well. Again, heavy buff. This time with less personal damage, but very short field time. And then there's the only electro buffer in the game still, Yinlin. Her liberation buff isn't too useful, but her personal damage and short field time are good. The fact that she's still the only electro buffer is crazy though. Now, her dual DPS slash sub DPS comps. So yes, she is a main damage dealer, but she has an interesting outro that provides a 15% damage amp to all elements. That means she can perform pretty well with a lot of different DPSs. Dual DPS with Zhang Liao is good. You can even put Yinlin in that team. Qinxi, although you should run Mortefi with them to provide coordinate attacks and a heavy buff. Jian, Augusta, and Ayuno are very solid, although you should feed Ayuno's buff into Augusta. Carlotta benefits too. Literally any DPS that doesn't heavily rely on their best support. So obviously Zanny or Cartethia, they don't work. But to be fair, Augusta's real value does come from her playing as a main DPS, so I really suggest playing her as that. The outro is definitely designed for Ayuno because her sub DPS damage is just nuts, and it buffs that. Now, if you don't have Shorekeeper, Verena is second best. Brant is also very good, but with more field time, his buffs are pretty useless. Then there's Baiji, but I think you're just honestly better off going supportless if you have to resort to Baiji. Overall, her comps are super simple. Her best hyper carry is Ayuno Shorekeeper. That free-to-play version will be Mortefi and Verena. Best dual DPS will be with Jinshi and Mortefi because Jinshi has absolutely no field time and can intro super quickly. But with all that being said, let's finally move on to her nodes. S1, Augusta can now hold 2 stacks of Crown of Wills. This is her outro. It gives electro damage per stack, and then when she intros, she obtains a stack. Each stack gives her 15% crit damage, and all of these attacks in yellow are immune to interruption. So it's some quality of life, plus a good amount of damage. About a 15% damage increase over her S0, but it gets even better with S2. So S2 provides additional effects of Crown of Wills. Each stack increases Augusta's crit rate by 35%. So 2 stacks gives her 70% crit rate. Absolutely insane. This makes her super easy to build. It's about a 20% damage increase over S1 because it completely changes the stats that she wants. She wants purely crit damage. She needs very little crit rate. She will always want her forecast to be crit damage. She will always want her substat priority to be crit damage. You may not even need any crit rate if you can can get 2 stacks consistently. Super solid node. S3 pretty much just increases damage to all these attacks. That's it. It's a good 15% damage increase, but it doesn't change anything. It's not that great. S4 is a team-wide 20% attack buff, which is great for her and another DPS or sub-DPS. The damage increase really depends on her team comp. It gets the most value from Mayuno because her damage is absolutely cracked. S5 just improves her shield that she gives herself. This literally does nothing but provide extra survivability, which you definitely do not need. So this is just terrible. Then S6. This one is actually so shocking. Augusta can now hold 4 stacks of Crown of Wills, which is just mind-blowing. So her kit can give a maximum of 140% crit rate from her S2. Don't know what you're gonna do with all that. Plus 60% crit damage from her S1 and 60% electro damage from her base outro. This is such an insane node, but that's not even everything. She gains stacks more efficiently by doing her normal rotations with all these attacks. And lastly, casting heavy attack either with full forte or normally will cast an extra attack that deals a chunky amount of damage. Man, the whales are eating good. If there's a character to go S6 on, it's her. Like, this damage, it's infinite. The damage increase is just infinite. It's absolutely crazy. What are you doing with 140 crit rate? Whatever. That's it for Augusta's build. She's the best character in the game. Pull for her.